Before telling story, it's hoped that you will not mind if a personal anecdote is shared. It gives the possibility and enables a question to be asked of you. Several years after being in the presence of the spiritual master we call Divine Mother, I woke up one morning and was about to commence my yoga ritual that began every morning for most of my life, when suddenly, just as I was about to commence the salute to the sun, I fell on my knees sobbing. So I got up and I went to the telephone and telephoned the Divine Mother, and between my sobs I said, "Divine Mother, the love has gone." She said, "Come now, I've been waiting for this." So I took myself off into her presence, and she said, it was the wrong kind of love. When I stopped sobbing and crying and went home, I thought to myself, what does she mean? She has always told us that there is only one love, one power. How can she say that it was the wrong kind of love? So it's asked of you, in the place that you now find yourself, can you tell me why it was the wrong kind of love? Mullah Nasruddin was sitting at the coffee shop, as he did every day, and they were discussing death. And after some discussions and toing and froing, someone says, "You know you're dead when you're stiff and cold." So it happened to be winter time, and there was snow on the ground. So as Mullah Nasruddin was making his way back to his home, he slipped on the slippery snow and fell into a ditch. And there he was lying, and after a while he thought to himself, I'm stiff and I'm cold. I must be dead. I better go home and tell my wife. So he got out of his ditch and he went home and he told his wife that he was dead, and then he went back to the ditch. And so his wife started to wail and weep so loudly, which was the custom of the day. So it brought all the neighbours, and they were saying to her, "What's the matter? What's happened?" And she said, "Mullah is dead." And they said, "How do you know?" She said, "He came home and told me." Then there's a story about two men in the land of the rising sun, and they were sitting in the tea house drinking green tea. One of them was a doctor, and this doctor, in discussion with his friend, was telling him that as a doctor, after so many years of practice, he had seen many, many people die in the ways that they had died, and he greatly, greatly feared death. He told his friend, "I fear death more than I fear anything at all. And his friend said, well, you know, I've been visiting a Zen dojo, and it is said that the master, the Zen master there, has no fear of death. Perhaps if you visit him, he will be able to help you. So the doctor was a very pragmatic man, and he did decide to go to visit this master in his dojo, because the fear of death rose in him every day, causing him great, great suffering. But he decided that he would need to prove that indeed this master did not fear death. So he decided to take with him a dagger and to threaten the master when he arrived. So, taking himself off to the Zen dojo, when he entered the door, the Zen master was sitting in lotus position on a cushion at the front of the dojo. And when the doctor entered, the Zen master got up from his cushion and he said, "Oh, it's so good to see you. I haven't seen you for so long," and embraced him. So, of course, in that situation, the doctor was not able to take out his dagger and threaten the master. So he thought, well, he might as well ask him the question about his difficulties with death. "Oh," said the Zen master, oh. And the doctor said, "Well, please, can you give me something to alleviate the pain, the suffering, the fear that I have?" "Oh, yes," said the Zen master. So the doctor said, "Well, what is it that I should do?" And the Zen master said, "Well, you're a doctor. You just go on caring for your patients. Just keep on caring for your patients." And the doctor was very perplexed about this, but he went off and he continued, as he always did, caring and taking care of his patients, but his fear of death was still there. So he went back to the Zen master, asked him again. "Oh," said the Zen master, "we can settle that, we can cure that. But what should I do?" said the doctor. Zen master said, "Just care for your patients, care for those who come to you, serve them." So again, the doctor was very perplexed, but he went back to his daily work, and nothing happened. So he thought, well, I'll go back one last time and see if he can help me. So he went back to the Zen dojo and was in front of the master. And he said, "Well, you've told me again and again, and I've done what you said, but I still fear death." So the Zen master said, I'm sorry, I've been too hard on you. Let me give you a Zen koan." So he gave him one of those great Zen koans that we all know, like the sound of one hand clapping. So the doctor went off, and he tried to find the answer to this Zen koan. And like all koans, they went over and over and over in his mind. But after some while, he recognized that his fear of death was disappearing. He cared for his patients as he always did. He saw death day in and day out. And he continued to practice, listening to find the answer to the koan. Then one day, got up and went to the dojo. And when he entered, there was the Zen master sitting on his cushion. And all he did was smile and nod. Firstly, what is the answer to the question, why was it the wrong kind of love? The questions that arise out of the other stories are something that is part of our passage to the absence of illusion. And you've got 2 days to get it. Why was it the wrong kind of love? Where are you now? When the theme is the death of love, the passage to the absence of illusion.